Alright, so I'm back, and we got the board back, as you can see, and we're going to be doing the battle with the try to move my chair and then hit the camcorder. Okay. Alright, we're going to be taking a look at the 3 tantrums. So here they are in their combined mode. I think this is the method I took with the Headstrong. And I think this worked actually a lot better than the other way around. I got a whole bunch of stuff behind. Alright. Sorry about that. Okay. Focused. So, as you can see, they're all in their leg modes. They're all about the same size. Tantrum being a little bit, or TFC being a little bit taller than Mastermind Creations, and Mastermind Creations being a little bit taller than Unique Toys. So, so this one's going to be more of a battle than the last one, because this is one where I think Unique Toys really shined with their Tantrum. So this is a really good mold. So we'll start off with the Unique Toys. Accessory wise, in this mode he does have a sword, but he can't utilize it at all, so it just goes off to the side. Mastermind Creations has the 2 knives, and like I said, these will connect into the big sword, so they'll have a place to go. He also comes with a hand for the Predaking mode, which, you know, it just sits on the side now, but it does go into the see, this particular hand will go into Rampage, so it does have a place to go. So again, good. And then he's got these 2 pistols, which I mean, it's got these weird little tabs here and there on them, so my guess is maybe that they'll all tab in to make one big gun. Don't know. I don't think I've seen that one yet, but I think that might be the case. So I was kind of hoping that they'd be able to plug in right here. It'd be kind of cool. Back of the hand blasters. Anyway. So hopefully these will have a place to go. I'm not entirely sure. They might end up sitting on the side. I doubt it, but we'll see. And TFC's got the sword, which sits off to the side. This will connect into the big sword. So as far as the individual figures go in combined mode, we'll focus on him first. I mean, he's really solid, as you can see. He's just straight up and down. Looks pretty good. I do like the actual way this one looks. The head is a little off because it doesn't really have a place to lock in, and it's just kind of floppy. That's a little unfortunate. The foot, you know, you can get the rotation there. Rocks back and forth, side to side. Again, it's the toes can individually swivel, and he's supposed to have a back toe here, but because that comes with a different figure, it doesn't count. Again, this little 5mm port is supposed to support the entire weight of the Predaking, and again, that really concerns me with the figure. It just and it just doesn't seem that stable. I mean, yeah, it's got a nice ratchet in there, but it's ultimately just one little port. If they would have, you know, kept this port permanently fixed to this, then I wouldn't question it really. I would find it much more stable. So there's that. as for my Creations one, his head does lock into place. Everything locks into place really well, but he does have like really big cankles going on here, just like their Headstrong. And again, he's on a ball joint for the foot. The foot doesn't have any posability itself, but he's on a ball joint. And again, I question the longevity and the decision on not making that like a ratcheted joint. I mean, yeah, you get more posability with ball joint, but with that much weight on that ball joint at all times, it may not. And how smooth it's moving now makes me question how long this will last. So yeah, longevity there. I don't know about it. Unique Toys one. You know, again, he's pretty much just a block here, but he does have the ankle tilt going on. The foot itself can ratchet up like this, so I mean, if you wanted to, you can get him into like a running pose. The individual toes are posable, so you can kind of situate them however you need to. And the back of the heel does rotate. And then again, you can flip the lights on and they turn on. So he's not as straightforward as TFC. He's got a little extra bulk up there, which is kind of like the knee area, which isn't too bad. But overall, and he feels very stable, even though this seems a little floppy once you get the weight in there. It holds it just fine. But it's not a joint that I'm worried about, like, oh, later on it's going to be really, really loose. I mean, yeah, it's loose now, but I mean, once you get the weight, it holds. Once you have, and if you have it standing straight up, it's fine. It's not on a little weak connector port. It's on two big ports right here. So, and they lock in very well. So, for combined mode, again, I'm going to give it to the Unique Toys. I think they do pull it off a little bit better than the other two, just because, I mean, this looks weird. I mean, like I said, it kind of looks like he's got kinkles going on. This one, I really don't like the foot plates at all, and the head is on sole. And you know, it's like I like the feature that this thing comes apart, but having that much weight on it, you know, hopefully that doesn't make that come apart, you know, while you're posing it, and then it just kind of collapses. I doubt that'll happen, but it is a possibility since they are separate pieces. Essentially, you're going to have 4 separate pieces for the foot when you get all said and done, because you'll have this side, this piece, and then the back toe. I just think the Unique Toys pulls this whole look off a little bit better than the other two. That doesn't mean that they're the better figure. I'm just saying in combined mode, as of right now, it seems to pull it off. TFC is actually a close second. This actually doesn't look too bad. So, I'm going to get these guys into beast mode, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so we've got them all into their beast modes. Start things off with Unique Toys here. His beast mode's pretty good. You got visible hand syndrome sticking out the back here. If you pull these down and lock them into place, you can kind of cover up the hands with these vents, but you lose all posability in that shoulder, so it's kind of up to you. Head does rotate, mouth opens and closes, horns do not move at all. Shoulders are on ball joints, and there's also a hinge in there to kind of make it go up or down. Elbows on a ball joint, there's a swivel right there, and the foot has a little bit of a tilt to it. Back legs, ball joint, swivel, hinge. And he does have a tail that goes up and down. trouble today. Then we get Bovis here. Head is on a swivel, so it goes around and go up and down. Mouth opens and closes, although once you open it, you do have the robot face right in there. Horns can move, so if you want them straight up, down a little bit, down a lot, you can kind of do with it as you wish. Shoulder is on a ball joint, and it also has a ratchet in and out there. Elbows, ball joint. Foot, ball joint. Back leg, ball joint. And there's also another ratchet out. Knee, ball joint. And the foot is on a ball joint. No tail. TFC. Head does rotate a little bit. The nose piece keeps coming off. It does go up and down. The horns do swivel a bit. And as you can see, the nose piece comes off. The mouth does open and close. Shoulders go in and out. A little give to the side to side. Swivel at the bicep, bends at the knee. Foot is on a ball joint. Now you can pose these down a little bit, but that looks weird. It gives this big huge gap, and it doesn't look quite right. So I prefer it up with a little bit of a bend there. Now, and you can also rotate these around and use this bend and have this on the outside. So you have a couple options there. I wouldn't go out and say one's right and the other one's wrong, but yeah, it works either way, really. Back legs rotate. Got a little bit in and out. Hinge at the knee, hinge at the backwards knee, and pivot at the foot. And he does have a tail that can wiggle a little bit. So, yeah, there you go. For Bovis, or for the beast modes, I'm going to give it to Bovis. I think Bovis pulls off the beast mode just a little bit better. He's a big, bulky bull, and he just looks really nice. The TFC one looks weird. The head mode I don't like at all. It looks goofy. And he's just kind of robot laying down again. I'm going to lock these things into place here. If you lock his arms into place and the back legs into place, he stands a lot better. So there's that. Now for accessories, Unique Toys has the foot plate, which you can fold the tail down. And there's 2 tabs on the back here. They'll slot into these tabs right back here. So you can plug those in. And he's got the foot plate mode. And it's one of those kind of things. He's got a sword as well, again, but it doesn't store anywhere in here, so it just sits to the side. Now Bovis here, he's got the foot plate, and you got the little connector tab right back here that plugs into these 2 slots on his back. So you can just plug those in. Like so. And then he also comes with the 2 knives, which you can port into his sides here. And then you can take his guns and plug them in here, so that they're all in the appropriate spots. And then the TFC one, he can take the foot plate apart. There's the two little ports right here and here. So this up a little bit, and they can just port on his back. Like so. But you can't port this in unless you can find a port for it, and same with this, you can find a port for it, but there's no real place for them. They just kind of sit off to the side, and that's lame. I mean, this is lame too, don't get me wrong, but this is lame as well. Bovis is the only one that can do all of them at once. So for beast mode, I give it to Mastermind Creations. So let's go ahead and get these guys into robot mode, and we will finish up this video. Alright, so we got them all back, or all into robot mode. And as you can see, they all look pretty good. Let's see here. Unique toys, the head does rotate side to side. It doesn't really tilt. It's more of the whole thing tilts. Shoulders are on ball joints. Good range of motion there. There is a bend at the elbow. Double bend due to transformation, but there is bend there. Waist swivels. Hips are on ball joints, and he's got these little side skirtings that, go back into place. You have to put them back into place, but they are there. Swivels at the thigh, bends at the knee, and the toes got a little bit of a pivot there as well. Bovis, only one I really remember the name of. Head rotates side to side. It's got a little rocking action there. You can move the face to look up a little bit down if you want to. Shoulders, ball joints, plus they have that hinge that moves it out. It's a good range of motion there. Swivels at the thigh or bicep, double bend elbows. Hand is on a hinge for transformation, but there's also a swivel there. Rotates at the waist. Hips ratchet up and down, in and out. There's a thigh swivel, bends at the knee, and then the foot is on a hinge back here, which goes to a ball joint, so it gets a good range of motion there. Plus, there's also a hinge on the foot itself, so you can get more dynamic poses if you really try. Due to his weight, it's kind of difficult, but you can do it. And then there's him. Okay, so the biggest problem here is the fact that if you have the head up, these shoulder pieces kind of get in the way of it. So, unfortunately, the way it's kind of designed, either you have to kind of leave it up like this, or you just put it back into place here. And the nose keeps falling off. And you can kind of put this up. I'm trying here, guys. It doesn't... Wow, it's not really wanting to fit in there now. What am I doing wrong? I must be doing something wrong. nose ring down. Okay, so the nose ring has to flip into it. Then this will flip up, and it kind of fits over there, but not fully. Then the head is on a ball joint. Good range of motion there. Shoulders ratchet up and down. You got to be careful of this back piece, this back gap. I just realized this a little while ago. Likes to catch on this kind of notch right here. So when you're moving it, it's like if you move it a little bit in, it'll catch, and then so it rotates there, goes outwards. This thing can move out. Swivels at the bicep, bends at the knee, or bends at the elbow. This doesn't lock in. Waist swivels. Thigh ratchets up and down, in and out. There's a swivel right below the knee bends, and the toe it's on a ball joint right here, so it kind of goes in, out, up, down. Unfortunately, unlike Headstrong, his head, for the most part, has to be in, otherwise the shoulders kind of get in the way of it. So, he's not winning no G1 points there. For scale comparisons, let's start getting through this. Here they are next to the Seeker mold. As you can see, Unique Toys is about the same size as the Seeker mold, so he fits really well with the classic scale. He's bigger, obviously, and you can kind of put him into a classic scale, but once you get into this one, he's a little too big for the classic Seekers. I know these two aren't too far apart, just about a head difference, but in the end, it does make a difference there. And then if you have the eye-gear Seekers, he's too small to really work in this scale. Whereas he's about right to work in the scale, and he's just about perfect. So, ultimately, like I said, he doesn't work with classics. He doesn't work with the eye gear, and he works with both. So, he works with both, but he works much better with the classics than he does, and he works much better with the eye gear than he does. So I'm gonna give a point to all three of them, because I think they all work really well. Transformation. He doesn't have locking points, which really bugs me a lot. I keep pointing it out, but I cannot stress how much that bugs me. It is just terrible. He locks in much better. Actually, at some points, like when the legs lock into the waist, it's kind of scary to get it back out. But it works. And all in all, he's a quick, easy transformation, and it's kind of fun. He is a lot more complicated than both of them, but everything locks in so well, and once you get it into whatever mode you go into, it's so rewarding. I think he's just really awesome. So, he's a jumbled mess. Awesome. Great. So I'm going to give a point to Unique Toys and to Mastermind Creations for the transformation. I think they're pretty good. Kibble. As far as Kibble goes, it's the same as Headstrong, really. He doesn't really have a whole lot of kibble hanging off of him. Everything kind of compresses pretty well. I mean, he's got the legs on the back of his forearms there. And that's pretty much it. And he's got legs on the back of his arms, which is pretty much it. Everything else tucks in very nicely. Now his forearms are also on the back of his shoulders, so I mean it's very similar on all three of these guys. So as far as Kibble goes, there's nothing too offensive there. I mean, he tucks the head into his chest, but it doesn't lock in. Again, it doesn't lock in. Nothing locks in on this guy. It's really kind of irritating. But for Kibble, I'm going to give them all a point on that one. I think they all succeed very well. Playability. This kind of goes with the transformation as well. He's a fun toy. He doesn't lock in together very well, so he's not very good at playability. And I know people are going to give me shit about that, but it's the truth. He doesn't play very well because things don't lock in, and I don't like that. You know, if we were talking like the Rampage where everything locks in really well, you know, then he's a better toy. I would say that Rampage is actually a better toy than either of these two. But he doesn't lock in. And because of that, and the things that do lock in don't lock in securely. Like these shoulder vents here. They're supposed to tab in on this end, and this holds decently. But when you get it over on this side, where it's supposed to lock in, it doesn't lock in at all. It's kind of a mess. And it's very unfortunate. So, for playability, I'm going to give it to, again, both of these guys. Robot mode. Just going by overall looks on the robot mode. I love the way the Mastermind Creations robot mode looks. He looks really fantastic. Sculpting is very crisp and clean. He just looks great. I absolutely love it. Unique toys. The robot is lackluster. I'm not gonna lie and say he's amazing. He's a little lackluster. He looks just like a robot. I mean, nothing really stands out except for the head. So yeah. And then the TFC, the robot does look really good. You know, I have problems with the transformation and the playability, but the robot looks great. You know, if I hadn't seen Predacons before, I'd probably say he's the better robot because the head tucks in. It's not just sitting out on the top. But since the G1 sits out on top, that's an issue. But the robot itself looks great. I really dig it. So for robot, I'm actually going to give it to Mastermind Creations and TFC. Style. Overall style of the figure. That one I'm going to give to MMC. I think the style on that figure is pretty spot on, pretty awesome. And then as far as G1 goes, it's going to Unique Toys. And then the last one is weapons and accessories. So let's take a look at the weapons and accessories. We'll start with Unique Toys. He's got his sword, which you can plug into his hand, and he's got the foot plate that doesn't do anything. So, there you go. You got Mastermind Creations here, where you can plug the knives into his wrists and into here. I still do not recommend plugging these things into his hands, because that's how I lost a thumb. It's too tight, it doesn't work. I do, however, like plugging in his knives to his forearms to give him kind of like a blades. I think that looks pretty cool. I dig that look a lot, actually. Guns. Oh, and there's also ports right here on the thighs. Guns, you can plug the guns into the thigh. You can plug the guns back here. You can plug the guns where the knives are stored. These ones, because they don't have any weird cross guards or anything, plug into his hands very well. And I really like them. I think they look great. You know, they're black with a slight gunmetal gray. He also comes with the foot plate, which you can have him hold if you want to. As kind of like a big weapon. It works, but meh. Or you can take these slots here, and you can plug it into his back. And then again, because of his size and weight, I mean, he weighs more than the other two, easily. But because of his size, he can easily hold that foot plate on his back. TFC. The foot plates can, unlike their headstrong, you can't really get them on the back of the arms here, because on the headstrong they kind of fold it up a little bit better, and you can kind of work with that. This one you have to kind of pull it out and then you can plug it in, so you have like a gap, but you can do it. It can be done. You can plug them onto his back like so. Let's see, it's going to be a little tight. You can do it. So you can do that. Let's see, you still plug them in back here if you want to. He can hold them. It's like big cannons. So there is options there. On this thing, you can kind of plug it into his arm here. Again, this is a stupid little thing. And then he's got his sword, which you can plug in. Which, of course, you know, if you move the sword, you move the hand, but not the arm. Yay! So, for weapons and accessories, you know, Unique Toys loses this round. Just completely loses this one, because in beast mode or leg mode, there's no place for the sword to go. In robot mode, there's no place for the foot plate to go. These guys, the feet plate, at least have places to go. But he loses because this thing is just stupid. And the sword doesn't have a place to go in beast mode. At least in combined mode, it has a place to go. I mean, you can find a port on it for it, but it looks goofy if you do that. Boba's here. All his modes, his guns and knives and the foot plate are going to be used. So by far, Mastermind Creations wins that round. So, let's tally up the scoreboard. So TFC's got 3 points. Unique Toys has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. And Mastermind Creation has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. So the winner of the Tantrum is Mastermind Creations. So yeah, unlike Headstrong, it wasn't as close in between these two. And I think a good portion of that is because I feel this one is of the figures, this one feels like the most rushed. I'm a little disappointed that Dive Bomb's going to take so much longer to come out, but at the same time, I'm happy. Let it take its time, get it right. If you're going to do a Predaking, get it right. I mean, he is the king, the king of the combiners. That's why the king is in his name. So, I mean, if you're going to do them, you got to do them right. So, take your time with Dive Bomb TFC. Make him right. Mastermind Creations, they are definitely taking their time. So, you know, and it's showing. And Unique Toys, theirs work really well in the classic scale. I mean, you know, we've already got the whole set, so they're not taking their time no more. But ultimately, this is going to be the last one of these videos for a while, because the next Mastermind Creation is Dive Bomb, so we can't compare Dive Bomb to Rampage, because that's not fair. So, you know, I'll review Dive Bomb when he comes out, obviously. And then their Rampage won't come out till later. They originally said this month, but now it's probably going to be next month or October. And Dive Bomb on TFC is not coming out till October. So, unfortunately, depending on when these figures come out, we won't have comparison videos until October. And we probably won't have the complete Predakings till then. And I won't be able to do comparison Predaking videos until then. So we've got 2 more to go. We've got 2 more on him to go, and 1 more on him to go. So we've got 3 more figures to go, probably within the next 2-3 months. So, I'm looking forward to the Mastermind Creations Dive Bomb, and when we go into the Predaking review, right now it's going to go. It's going to start off with Mastermind Creation with 3 points, and TFC with 1. So, hopefully, Unique Toys can edge out on the Rampage and Dive Bomb reviews. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.